Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dyslexia Solutions. This is a program where we interview adults who either are dyslexic, teach dyslexic children, or have family members who are dyslexic. And the purpose of the program is to empower you and let you know that there's tools you can have and just to encourage you that your child's going to turn out all right. Hi, I'm Dr. Marianne Cintron, founder of Step by Step Dyslexia Solutions, a nonprofit 501c3 charitable organization. I equip heroic teachers with an effective literacy program to remediate dyslexia so we can close that achievement gap, stop the school to prison pipeline, and prepare kids for success in school and in life. I've been a classroom teacher for 10 years, but an educator for 20. I am the founder of Step by Step. I also I am a curriculum developer, an app developer, and I'm an author of A Message of Hope, How Music Empowers Children Who Are Dyslexic. So today on our program, we have a very special guest, and we met in a networking opportunity. And I have her waiting in the room, and we're going to invite her in. Her name is Stephanie Setmire. So Stephanie, come on in and say hello to our wonderful audience.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so Stephanie is a preschool teacher, which got my attention because while I'm giving webinars to help teachers learn how to work with dyslexic children, it's also on my heart to prepare parents with preschoolers, getting them ready for kindergarten. So I met Stephanie through, she found me on LinkedIn through a networking friend. And I was just intrigued that she has her permit for child development. And Stephanie, why don't you go and tell the audience a little bit about you and your challenges, your learning challenges.
Oh, sure, I'd love to. Well, I'm Stephanie. I've taught preschool for the last 20 years, and I've worked with infant through age 5. I knew I wanted to do that since I was 10. And then I'll tell you, I have dyslexia. I was diagnosed at age 5. And then I received support services from 2nd grade all the way up until college, until I graduated with my degree.
That's so neat. And Stephanie's one of our success stories because she was actually diagnosed at age 5. And the school she attended wasn't afraid to say the word. Because when you know it's dyslexia, you can make accommodations. So why don't you tell us a little bit about, well, from kindergarten to through the early learning years, what that looked like for you.
Sure. Well, I was in kindergarten. I went to kindergarten twice because they already picked up on my dyslexia. And then after that, I was officially got support services. So I was in a pull-out program from 2nd grade to 8th grade at my elementary school. And I was pulled out and given other information. I did also have speech services, and I had that actually, I think, starting in kindergarten. So the other part of my accommodations at that time was my homework was reduced to about half, and then also my spelling words were not as many as the other students, so that I wasn't spending all my time at doing homework.
And I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
One of the things you shared was that your teacher didn't have a very specific reading program.
Yes.
And what is really needed that we've learned is the Ortongillingham model, which is multisensory, structured, sequential, systematic. Mm-hmm. And I've written a reading program called Step by Step Reading that I talk about on my website.
Yeah.
That is that. And I wondered, what did it feel like when your teacher was just pulling everything at their fingertips to help you read?
Yeah, I think that was maybe a missed opportunity because I was pulled out, and so they had a lot of time that they could have been doing those instructions. So I think that would have been helpful, especially as you go along once you go into high school and college. Not having those reading skills makes it much more challenging. Even though I did it, it was much more challenging not having proficient reading skills.
Tell me a little bit about the social aspect of having dyslexia. I know you're popular, people liked you.
Yeah.
How did you feel inside?
Well, I felt isolated because I was pulled out from all the other students and taken to another environment. So I was only with the same student, and I would say I was with the same students from probably 2nd grade until 8th grade in my resource class, but they weren't necessarily my friends. And so I think that part was challenging. And also I know students know that you go to a separate building, which didn't help either. So I think for me in elementary school, that was challenging. But luckily I had other outside things I did. I did soccer where I had friends. I even was in church group and I had really good friends there, and had friends even from preschool that I had good relationships with. So for me, it was okay that at school I made friends with the new people, so they didn't know that I was in the program. And so for me, I learned at a young age how to become friends with new people that I meet. So that's a good skill to have, I think.
One of the things that one of my other students, who's now a young adult, told me that he thought that dyslexia was a gift because it taught him how to step out of his little comfort zone and make friends, because
Yeah.
they weren't easy for him to have. So you've learned that, and that's really awesome.
Definitely.
And then, you know, when we teach with a multisensory reading program, we're teaching to a student's strength as well as to their weakness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's so helpful. But I noticed how you talked about having extra activities. So what were some of the activities you were involved with outside of school?
I did soccer for 10 years, from 1st grade until 10th grade. And then I also did, my dad was a lifeguard when he was young. And so we went to the beach every day. So I learned how to body surf on my dad's back. And then I learned how to boogie board and body surf when I was like 12. So I used to go to the ocean a whole bunch. I ran in high school. I ran for cross country. I did soccer, and I also did swimming for 3 years. So I had all these other.
And you were good at all those.
Yeah,
That's
I
amazing.
enjoyed them. Yeah, I started swimming actually in 7th and 8th grade. I was on a swim team, not at school, but outside of school. So I started swimming when I was since I was a baby, but in 7th, 8th grade. So.
You know, when I worked in Los Angeles, I saw children that struggled with reading were
Mm-hmm.
really successful in PE.
Yeah.
Sports.
Yeah.
And, you know, dyslexic children are not dumb. They're
No.
very talented. They just have other strengths. And how neat, when we can get them reading at a young age, we can build their self-esteem, which is what
Definitely.
I'm all about. I want to help them increase their self-esteem, realize their full potentials, and positively give back to their communities.
Oh, definitely. For
And
sure.
you're someone who's giving back to your community as a preschool teacher. Tell
Yeah.
me about the community college. You had some really positive stuff to say about them, that they actually gave you the more time on your test, and they really gave you those accommodations, which you didn't receive in school as a younger girl.
Yeah.
So expound on that if you would.
Oh yeah. Okay. I went to Orange Coast College. Another added bonus was I didn't have to take the SAT, so I never took it because you don't have to have it to go to the community college. But the resources at their learning center were amazing. I had tutoring from people who, like for my history, someone who studied history would tutor me. I had my writing is I'm not very good at that, so they had people who would look over my writing and I'd redo stuff, and then they do it and then I'd redo it. And so I had that. And then they also, because I was at the learning center, they had a study skills class that you had to take. So they taught you how to take tests and how to organize and executive functioning skills that you really need in order to be successful. And the other thing that I really benefited from was time and a half on tests in a quiet environment. And it wasn't because I needed the extra time. It was just I needed no distractions. I get distracted pretty easily and have test anxiety. So
yeah, that's what I was going to say, that anxiety is there.
yeah.
So knowing you have more time takes that stress
Yeah.
down a little bit. Before we had this meeting, I had asked Stephanie to listen to our app, Dunking Dyslexia, and take one of the spelling tests that has the music in the left ear, spelling exercises in the right ear, and tell me how you like that.
You know, I liked it. I actually, when I was doing it, I was able to visualize the words in my head. And actually, not ever been able to really visualize words in my head. I visualize everything else but words. So it was nice that it accessed the part of your brain in order to visualize the words. And then as you were saying them, I was spelling them.
That's
So
really good.
yeah,
Well, and the music has a real important part. When the music's played in the left ear, it crosses over to the right side of the brain, and the right angular gyrus is doing something it likes to do, which
yeah,
allows the left angular gyrus to be strengthened. So I love how you recognized early detection of dyslexia is so important, and
yes,
early intervention.
yes.
So is there anything else you'd want to say to our listeners out there before we close?
I just thank you for having me. And I guess, like you said, the early intervention is like my passion. And so even getting them younger than 5, I would say infant through age 5 is so important to get the help that those children need as early as possible. So I think that's just my main message and my passion. So thank you so
Okay,
much.
we share that. Thanks,
Yeah.
Stephanie.
You're
So
welcome.
listeners, I hope you've learned a lot from today, and I hope you go to our website. It's www.dyslexia-solutions.com. I have on there some free webinars for whether you're a paraprofessional or a teacher or a parent and you want to learn about dyslexia, you want to have a simulation of what it feels like to be dyslexic in the classroom. I have one of those webinars coming up, and I'll have some repeated webinars. And then we have some webinars for parents of preschoolers who want to get them ready for kindergarten. And try our app, Dunking Dyslexia. You can have a free trial for 3 days. So I want to thank you for tuning in today. And I'm Dr. Marianne Cintron, your dyslexia specialist. I hope you have a blessed day. Bye-bye. Bye, Stephanie.